Hey guys, your boy Moist Mercenary, and today we have, as you can see, we have a bit of a different scenery. I decided to try something else. I'm actually on a floor, on a flat surface, with the cardboard box. So hopefully we get a bit better stability of the stadium going forward with this setup, and just easier recording. Today I'm going to be revisiting what I believe to be my biggest mistake of a video, something I think is probably my dumbest video on my channel, and that would be the combo I made, or the comparison I made between Flame 230 CS and Arroyo 230 CS. As you can see, I just have the Zerago face bolt because you know, I don't have a Arroyo face bolt. That's the nice Takara stone face. I just have the Shogun steel face bolt for that. So I'm gonna use the Arroyo one just for the look. I made a video comparing these. That was probably one of my first videos. I think it was either my second or third Beyblade video on my channel. And I thought, you know, this is probably round and good for a stamina combo. For some reason, I thought the plastic would act as a boost disc. I didn't even use this in Crystal Up phase, so I was really new back at that point. I had like very little knowledge of competitive. I had very little knowledge of what made this actually good. So me making that video was honestly not a great idea. Like, this does not have many of the properties. The Arroyo wheel and the pirate combo does not have many of the properties that made this combo really good. Like the raised wheel, as you can see here, that the metal is pretty high up, making it even harder to hit any real metal, any good contact with an attack type if it's too low. This wheel is overall pretty round. It's got some like unevenness, but for the most part, it's pretty round and really good for stamina. Most of the weight is to the edge as well, like you would want for a stamina type part. This, most of it is to the edge, but you know, it is a bit unbalanced. It's a 0G part. It's gonna be unbalanced. I used it in face up mode, which is even worse than just crystal down, which is worse than crystal up like it's in now. And honestly, this is just a bit too light. This has some nice heft. This is too light. So I'm gonna just compare it, show it to y'all, the differences, the things that I've learned. Flame is also a pretty good wheel for destabilizing other combos, which is why you could see this like taking out some other, maybe other 230 combos, maybe some other just like 145, 160 combos, something like that. And obviously outspinning many short combos, which is what I'm planning to show here in the video today, especially comparing how they fare against attack types, which is probably the most important, as they're what these combos are made to counter. So let me get some combos together and let's do this. So I'm just gonna get the boring stamina combos out of the way. I would do some defense, but I honestly don't feel like it, and I'm also trying to get this camera to stop shaking, if it would, please. And that's probably the best we're gonna get. So I'm just gonna start with this, the stamina. And this will be sped up, so don't worry, but I will just talk during the first bit of this. The stamina of Flame 230 CS is actually pretty good. Even with CS, even though it has rubber on it, it's still very good because of that spike in the center, meaning that it's good for both stamina and defense, and if it wears down, could have some pretty good aggression to it, making it overall like one of the better balanced tips in Beyblade, if you ask me. As you can see here, like, it is draining the stamina of Earth. This is low height Earth. I'll show you the combo after. I should have done that. But it's just, oh, this is like a balanced combo more than anything. You would call it stamina. Technically, this is good for stamina. I use Cancer on it for stamina. You could use Bull if you want some more heft and defense, but the Cancer wheel, I think, is a bit better for outspinning, maybe a low height stamina combo, maybe a mid height stamina combo, something like that. Right now I have Earth, Beelzeb. Yes, I have a Bix's face bolt. I couldn't find the Beelzeb one. and I took apart my Bixis for the 230, so I just grabbed that one. I have it on 100 EWD because I also just grabbed what was closest to me. I didn't grab my 90. Better 100 than 85 in my opinion, because 85 might scrape a bit too much. So if we do a quick battle comparing it against Arroyo, I probably shouldn't have launched Arroyo first, but you'll get the same effect out of it. You'll understand that it's not quite as good. It's probably still going to win because it is, you know, raised and Earth is draining its stamina just hitting straight plastic. But we'll probably see that the match ends up a bit closer than the previous, probably. As you see there, Arroyo is losing a lot more stamina than Flame would have. As you saw, Flame was still strongly spinning there, still staying up pretty well. So there you could see like some of the disparities between Arroyo and Flame. Now let's move on to some attack combos. So the combo we're using now is a pretty good limited combo in MF2H, Lightning, Eldrago, CH120 RF. So I'm going to try this out against the 230 CS combos. First against Arroyo. I'm going to do it in low mode first, then in high mode, just to demonstrate that, like, the effectiveness of 230 being tall. Like, it's still getting flung pretty far, but even Arroyo 230 CS isn't getting, like, KO'd here, you know? This was a pretty poor launch from me. Still gotta practice launching in this big old stadium. Or not big old stadium, from this awkward, like, angle with the camera and all that. But as time goes on, hopefully I'll get better. So now let's try it against Flame. Of course, let me just redo this. Of course. Even with a much better launch, we see Flame 230 CS honestly tanking a bit better. I don't think Arroyo would have been knocked out by now if Drago was hitting that hard out the gate. Arroyo would have definitely got hit out of the stadium way earlier. But Flame 230 nullified most hits. I mean, it is much heavier, so it is able to hold a much more firm grip on the stadium. But now let's move swiftly into the high mode of CH120. Bear with me. This yellow CH120 is known to be a bit more snug than the other color variants. This is the one found on Inferno Bixis, if you didn't know. In some say it's the best, I say it's a pain in the ass, because, you know, a bit difficult to move sometimes. Maybe it's just mine that's very snug, but I remember having one as a child that just didn't budge when I tried to move it, so, yeah. So let's try this again. A couple of wall saves here, but you can see Eldrago doing a ton of damage here. Could honestly win off of pure damage, like, yeah, we see Arroyo still won, but that was much closer thanks to Eldrago being so much taller now. Let's try another one. Nice knockout. That would have gone flying across my room without this sort of wall here that I've built. So, yeah, we could see Eldrago doing much better now on the high mode of CH120. Now if we switch to Flame 230 CS, Even now, it's still tanking way better than Arroyo. And it is doing some funny movements here, but it is probably gonna outspin still. This is fun to watch though. It was able to tank way better than Arroyo, and is probably going to win as well compared to Arroyo. Arroyo is getting flung around the stadium. Meanwhile, this guy is just, he tanked and then tornado stalled, which is pretty funny. Okay. That took me a while and I failed. See that? Even now, that was the closest it was, and it still tanked very well. Lightning can actually hit hard enough. This is my first time really using lightning in like a competitive combo. It is doing fairly well. I've underestimated this thing until now, and yeah, it is still in the high mode as well. So, yeah, the raised wheel really helps with that. It was able to hit the wheel, yes, but it was hitting a much lower part of the wheel up here. Even in this height, it's still very short compared. Like, it should not be able to hit the wheel, but thankfully it did, thanks to, you know, slopes and math and stuff. Let me get the next combo going. So the next combo I'm deciding to use here will be pre-hybrid Pegasus, of course, MF2H, with R145 RF. I have R145 sort of aligned to the front here, just to add a bit more weight towards the contact points. R145 is actually pretty solid attack track too. If anything hits under here, it is actually pretty high recoil with all these gaps and stuff. So it can provide some pretty good attack and defense too, if you're on a defense combo. So let me go ahead and try this out for you. Cool. We gotta put the tool back on the launcher. So let's try it against Arroyo first, just to demonstrate that it sucks. Okay, well, it actually tanked very well, mostly because it was able to evade Pegasus for most of that fight. Okay, there we see Pegasus doing what Pegasus does. Pre-hybrid Pegasus, such a powerful Beyblade. Probably my favorite Pegasus in Beyblade. Yeah, we can see there that Pegasus sort of flings Arroyo around. Now, if we try Flame, Flame just got wall saved big time. So I'm not sure if I want to like praise it too much, but I mean, a win is a win, and it is winning against this pre-hybrid here. Pre-hybrid Pegasus is so fun though. I do love this bay. If you haven't got one, I highly suggest one. It's one of my favorite attack types to use. And if you're wondering why I'm using the nice blue one, it's because when I got it, it was already very scratched up, so I don't care. I'm gonna use the one that looks better unless if this was fresh, unscratched, new paint job, I would not be using it. There we could see like an upper attack really is like the weakness, or like if something is tall enough, like a good upper attack really is the weakness. Because this thing gets flung upward. Like, this thing jumps sometimes when it's hit hard enough. Like, I've seen Pegasus straight up go under it before. I think that happened in one of these fights if you paid enough attention to see that. But it's fun to see, but it just points out one of the weaknesses. This is much better against something super low height. But we can see that it did tank better than Arroyo. Let me try one more battle with this specific combo. seeing some of the evasive movements we could potentially get with CS here, where it's literally evading all contact from Pegasus. It did hit it there that time, but we saw a little bit of that destabilizing of the flame wheel, where it kind of just knocked Pegasus downwards upon being hit. I have one more combo to try out, and then I'm going to wrap up this video. Let's see. Alright, so this time we have Spiral Tempo GB145 R2F. I heard Tempo was good on this. I'm not sure how good it actually is with Spiral, but I'm going to use it anyways because I love Tempo, and I know most people are going to be like, oh, you say screw Tempo, say screw Hirogia, whatever. I don't care. I like Spiral. It's what I'm used to, so I'm going to keep saying it. Let's try it right up. Oh, hold on. Let me get the metal face heavy for this, actually. So, I'm, of course, going to be using it against this. We also got the metal face heavy on it now. So, let's just jump straight into it. Spiral is as good as the Hybrids. Yeah. It's probably better than Spiral is probably better than 3 Hybrid Pegasus, unfortunately, but at least for a limited, it hits pretty hard, as you see here. Roy is still able to tank pretty well. It does have a much lower center of gravity, meaning it is a bit better for tanking than Flame. At least brute force onto the wheel. It has a bit more of that downward weight, if you will, like a lower center of gravity. Flame is pretty raised, which is why it kind of jumps sometimes. You can see Roy actually tanking pretty well, so it's not a terrible combo. It's just Flame is probably, but not probably, it just is much better. You can see it only got knocked out 1 out of those multiple attempts, so let's see how Flame does in comparison. Sorry for shaking up the camera so much. Let me readjust this and pull this back up a little bit. Wonderful. Quick knockout, yes. At this point, I'm just using Spiral to knock things out. See a bit of that higher center of gravity being a little bit of a nuisance to Flame though, but for the most part it's able to tank very well and still wins against Spiral here. Yeah, that was a definite wall save there, but we're seeing some of this more evasive maneuvers again. As soon as the CS starts, when it's doing this and the CS starts scraping against the ridge, that'll drain a lot of stamina quickly. But as you can see here, it doesn't really matter because Tempo is done. So I think I've shown what I needed to. Arroyo actually impressed me a fair bit, able to put a pretty good fight up most of the time. But I do think Flame 230 CS, Flame Cancer especially, is probably better. Let me know what you guys think. Try out the combos for yourself. See what you think. See how they perform for you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. That's all I have to say this time. Have a good one, guys. And remember, join Exotic server. Link in the description. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe before Lightning El Drago spin steals your breath.